Traders, happy Monday. Excited to be back. Friday, I was out, but that didn't stop me from trading on the CPro application. Had a short on MGTX. Hangover. I put on the YouTube community tab for you guys to be looking out for. This play and pop to short into. This is just a hangover play. The edge I like to look for daily, where it's brought up the previous day, closes weak, opens, and either fades, or if it gets a spike, it normally profit takes. It's just momentum shifting in the market. Well, Mr. Isaiah actually caught this one. Here's his entry. So if you guys send me your charts, I love to show them. I love to look at them. It's chart porn. Absolutely love it. His entry, 869 up here at resistance. He had marked off left of the chart. And exit 814. Even better than me. I had an 861 average and took profits at 819, I believe. So I hit Q on Friday. Today, sitting at about 1.5 Q. On the day, gave back just a little bit, and really it's just a padding the wallet kind of day. I took 2 L's, a scratch trade, and had 3 winners. So the winners were just bigger than the losers, and the losers kept fairly small, kept them tight. And that's really how we're going to grow these accounts, because even here, $30 a day times 20 trading days, $600 in a month, and then we just keep building on that with 20% of the buying power that compounds. So it's going to naturally grow. That's what I'm looking for. Last week, I took a couple bigger L's than I wanted. So what I've done is I put a max loss on the account of roughly 5% of the account. I think that's appropriate. $50. So if you have a $10,000 account, that'd be $500. If some days are just not your days, like I literally had 8 or 9 red trades in a row, I could not get it going. And rather than just stop digging, I kept digging deeper and deeper in the hole. Should just throw the shovel away, because some days are just not going to be our days, and that's okay. And other days are going to be our days. So we want to maximize our profit potential and minimize our risk. What I would like to do is not narrow in my focus on one ticker alone. Pretty much most days there's one low float play that is the attention hoe, is what I like to call it. Just the attention hoe that grabs everybody's attention, and you cannot divert your attention away when you need to. You need to not look, not trade it, unless you have an edge that applies to that kind of setup. I'm fairly disciplined in avoiding those kind of setups, but padding the wallet, this is what we want to do every single day. Minimize the risk, maximize the reward. Regardless if the winners are small, I'm really happy with letting these things, at least the leftovers, run a little bit. So imagine with larger share sizes can really add up. For instance, look up here at AAL. I got involved on a long side 1098, took some off up 10 cents a share, and then took the rest off 22 cents a share up. So the profit builds, and the next trade left leftovers as well. This was AUR. Yep, so I shorted this 719. Took some off 708 and the rest off 694. And I believe Laser did the same thing. I reduced the risk because I was already at Q on the day and got a short 621, took some off 606, took the rest off 695. So it worked well today doing the leftovers. Leftovers are really key. Now, part of the reason I take some off is I have always had a problem with letting my winners run. And for some reason, for me, it mitigates that emotion. When I take some off, I'm like, okay, now I'm a winner. It guarantees that I'm going to be green. I'm going to win on this trade, regardless what it does. Because ultimately what I do is I adjust my risk parameters on the leftover position to my average price. So at that point in time, I'm green no matter what. If it wants to work and continue to work, great. If it doesn't, oh well, I'm still green on the trade. Now, one of my favorite tickers this morning, AKBA, and I want to go over this. I was up 224 short, and it fell to 218, didn't take anything off. It climbed back up 227 and actually even further, AKBA. Now, I'll show you guys some of these charts. AKBA, here's a hangover setup similar to MGTX on Friday. This one was profit taken at the start of the day, but ultimately curled back around, made a red to green move. So I teach there's no guarantees, there's no certainties in trading. You always have to apply risk because this is a probabilities game. And if ultimately you want to be a consistent trader, you have to understand that consistency starts in the mind, not in the market. And we don't entirely know what the market's going to do. The triangle of distributions says that this scenario is likely to happen. That's the probability setup, right? This is likely to happen, but there are scenarios in which it may not happen. And we need risk applied for those unlikely scenarios that may ultimately happen. And that's why I don't like to ever put all my chips on one trade. I've seen so many traders do so well with trading, and then they blow up because they let one trade define their entire trading journey. Now, one thing I'd like to say is you never make it. You're always making it. So every single day, in fact, every single trade, You need to have your guard up. But again, your mind has to be stronger than your emotions in trading, because if I had been fighting this one, you never want to fight tickers, aka you never want to marry tickers. They're not loyal. Now this one's actually setting itself up really well for tomorrow, so I'll probably stab at it again since nearly was break even on it. I got 240 risk mapped out on it, so that's what I'm going to be looking at for a hangover tomorrow. Now, another one I traded was AAL, American Airlines. This one, the chart was juicy. On the daily, this ticker had been selling off since January. They had you guys saw, the bad thing that happened in January with the American Airlines. But there's been a lot of fear involved in AAL. And what do we like to do? As Mr. Warren Buffett said, we like to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. I mentioned I really like this for a swing, but how could we trade this for a setup on the long side here today? Well, I missed the initial entry against this yellow previous close. It did pull back, gave sloppy seconds. I got an entry 1098 with about 1087 risk, and ended up taking all of it up and around in the 1120. Some off 1110, some off 1120s up there. Obviously, should have let that one run more. I'm getting better though. Getting a little better. Laser is another one I traded on the short side. Now, this one I had to locate as well as AKBA, but the locates at CPro are amazingly cheap. So the laser, I'm pretty sure it was like $1 or something to locate 100 shares. I did that. This was a head and shoulders setup. I like the shoulders. It was 620, 625 shoulders, the 20-cent magic area. Always, always, always keep your eyes set on the magic 20-cent area. Well, this one had a neckline around 615. I got involved with it up here, the 620 area right here, and then that's when it pretty much snapped. So that was a pretty good entry there. Sniped that one out. I took a trade CELH here this afternoon and stopped out as it broke over the highs. Minimal loss there. I'm going to be watching this one tomorrow for a hangover as well. It's way overbought off this bottom trend line, so keeping it tight. This is what I like about this strategy. Shorting at euphoria, buying at fear. Yeah, your win rate might not be 80 or 90%, but the ones that work out, like these things can elevate or drop really quickly, as we see a lot of times as longs profit take. AUR was another good setup. So that magic 20-cent area I just told you about, here we are. AUR, I had a 719 entry on this on the short side. This is a hangover play I was looking at. Let her come to me. It popped up at the start of the day. We already had longs in it from the prior trading day. 20-cent magic area, and left the chart resistance that we had mapped out. So that was beautiful resistance mapped out there. 719 entry, and took it all 694.5, the remainder of the leftover position on AUR. I felt great today. I was seeing things well, applying risk very well, getting some good entries, letting the trades come to me. So ultimately, was real happy with today. There were a few misses like there usually are, but not going to cry over spilled milk. Overall, going to be happy if we can get some consistent days looking like this. We've already applied the $50 max loss on the account, so we're going to make sure if the day is not going in our direction, we're going to take a minimal L on the day and can recover it, in a couple trading days. I had like a $130 red day one day, just taking red trade after red trade. Nothing was working out, and we learned our lesson there, right? We're not going to let any day wipe out all our gains like that again. If the market is not favoring our high probability setups, then we're just not going to take them. But traders, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Lots of you tuned in this morning. I'm going to be applying in the morning now a watch list before we go live, so that way you guys can review it before I go live, so you can be a little educated, have the charts pulled up in your watch list. Make sure you tune in pre-market for that. But traders, I look forward to having a green day with you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys did well. Let's be disciplined, stay disciplined, be green, and preserve that capital. Traders, we will see you guys tomorrow.